And here we are again.
Hi, everybody.
We're here on October 28th, 2022 for a new, what is this?
Alchemical Rede
class. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is entitled The Hidden Force of Fae. That's going to be a nice deep dive.
Say hello to everybody.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for being in the member area and
also thank you to all our sisters in the class.
We're very appreciative.
Alchemical Rede, and now we're sharing this on another level. And we didn't know how much. We're just experimenting. We may go off and not share this with the public. You never know what we're going to do.
See how on topic we stay.
But
it's a big topic, the hidden.
But thank you. All of you all have joined membership, and except for Evelyn, but I'm really not sure if Evelyn still gets anything because she's that
pretty
area.
Off grid. Yep.
She's kind of off grid, so I'm not sure about that. But we still send it to you all. But also, it is going to be in the long spoon too. So that'll be. I mean, periodically.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a very fun.
I like the cover
class
piece
to
here.
do. I love this.
Isn't it wonderful?
It really.
You'll get it in your flip book. It will be the cover.
Yes. It says, "Gathering wisdom within the vine, we relate the call as the alchemical egg awakening inside its packing."
Got to get out of there somehow.
I know it. I never thought about the packing itself awakening the chick. You know, the sound of the packing that it's doing. And I don't know, I just love that. This came out of a wonderful piece that we have in the living room that y'all all know that was at the...
last show.
Which show was it?
Closing the door open.
Oh, yeah, it was the last show.
Was it the... this one was?
Yep.
Okay.
I went home and hung it up.
No, I think we had this already. The big piece at this show was, well, maybe not. But I thought it was, we have this piece here from the show. Oh, no, I'm right. The one in the living room is the main piece. I mean, the one in the dining room is the main piece from this show. This is a show before. This is about the tree of life. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And but I went and did close-ups of it, and then they just made this beautiful or wonderful for this collage. So I love
and
that.
I like to think about the metaphor with the egg awakening inside its packing. Like, so, like if here you are now in this membership area, and those of you who have been with the class are very familiar, but those that are new, when you drop into new information, you are like the chick inside the egg.
Yeah.
So as you peck your way through it, either word by word or phrase by phrase, or new word is like or having to sit more deeply into what it's saying, it's like that chick hitting the wall and it's resonating. What it's doing is it's resonating expansion. I'm growing.
Wow.
I need out of this old space and I need into a new space. So I like this cover.
Oh, I do too.
Really
I love that idea.
Really speaks to it.
Yeah, and one thing is we want to. We did a recording about this class that's going to go on the Long Spoon this month, and it was a tabletop conversation about the Alchemical Rede and all of us gathering for so many years. And I thank you all there is so much for you all have helped create this whole conversation in each class by doing this for this many years. You've helped make it present, and it is like the alchemical egg pecking. You hearing it pecking its way out. Robert, you moved in. I'm still looking at the other thing. Yeah, up there.
Okay.
And so we are like pecking our way out. So because this was always intended to understand, but also share it on a much larger scale. But it's like we had to tend it as a very small group, intimate group, for that many years. And you know, when the monks asked us, how many years do we have to train to do the work, the artwork that we do, and the work, we said 10 years. And they said, well, that's what it takes them to train to actually be a monk that does a mandala.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so the class we've been getting here a little over 10 years, and because even though we've been getting together, we've actually been physically getting together for about 10 or 11. Then we have the pandemic where we're sitting the class out, but we're not physically getting together. So now it's like we physically got together, just like the monks physically train, and we physically were together before we could do this kind of work. And working it for 10 years, just like they were, we've been doing the classes for a little over 10 years. And then we went into this interim, which is really that between space before something actually, the door closes, so you close the door open. So we're in the time now whether we have already closed the door and we're closing it open. And as we close the door to the small group we're opening the door to 200 more people at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that magic in the 200.
Yeah.
You know, people, the 200, the 200, the 2,000, they're all in the same kind of equation. And when I was a young girl, my father had to go away because he's a pilot, and he had to create more income. There was 5 children, and so that we could go to school. And so my parents made this great sacrifice of my dad actually coming up to Pennsylvania. No, well, it was up to Ohio, and working out of Ohio from a big jet company that really transported celebrities all over the world. Well, with that job, he would make $2,000. And it's interesting because when I met Robert, he said every time, at the end of the year, he'd keep wanting to make more, but he'd just make $2,000. And then what we need to, from the 200 people, is we need $2,000 a month. And for all 5 of us to be able to do the work and be able to promote the work on out in a much bigger event, and then also needing to be able to maintain our space, our home, and to continue to do the work, and not push the work into the place where it has to be a certain thing so it's catchy, or it has to relate artistically to other ideas than what it is. And it's been protected that way, and that's why when people like that we have met, 2 really lovely women, Ione of the group. Can you help me, Robert, here?
Listening deeply, I think it is.
Listening deeply, yeah. That Andrea is very much part of, in a beautiful, beautiful way. She had told me, she had channeled to me and said that that the main thing with me was that I had a clear source and that I spoke straight from it. I was like a pure source of the channel for the source. And that was the most valuable thing. And then when I worked with another woman that's quite seen, was Laura Eisenhower, and she spoke to Robert and I, and she said the main thing about us, the biggest thing is that we're a clear force, and that everything, in fact, in the universe, that our work comes out of, we have full, what do you call that, Robert?
She used the term carte blanche.
Carte blanche.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great term. Uh, Carte blanche from the universe for how we work with this work. And so that's quite a relationship. And to me, in this time, I've held on to that. Is I couldn't hear anything better, and that she said that actually our work was not blocked from going out. It has its time, and actually when that time comes, it will move quite swiftly and be very powerful. And I was really, those are the things about this work that keeps us moving and moving forward. And I'm very grateful that you all have been part of the development of how to do that, the development of the understanding of the language and the interest, the encouragement um, of, of continuing the support, the sisterhood of the relationship in that language that it creates for us, and the nurturing, and it's almost like a little tea partiness inside of us is all nurtured by that, and willing to do that for 10 years every single week. That's what it was, the coming back to it. And even if any of you, of the women, any of you all had, or the women in this, had any other things that you did, it was like you did that and then you were back again. And so we all became very comfortable with that tight in a relationship with other people that weren't really necessarily just like us in any other way, except this willingness to dive deep in this hunger.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The Hidden Force of Fae. Introduction. Embarked is the way we yearn to travel, and the force of Fae is the manner of being in the matter of realm.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to put capital M on matter. And the collage that goes with this intro is so fun. We did this week. The fine print of another language is rarely seen if the eye is not close up to itself.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. A point of focus,
That is
huh?
Point
Yeah.
taken. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, honey.
Okay, the hidden force of Fae. The potency of this time is the hidden force of Fae that is rising. The character of need is open to the squared composure of the omnidirectional sight that now approaches the frame of distance.
You want to unpack that a little bit?
Well, it goes really well with this, the collage here that's with the Etruscans and the hieroglyphics of Mesopotamia, and the relief carvings that says the unerring curve pronounces the unseen as only veiled and moves the forward to the eye. So this omnidirectional sight is ancient. You know, this the idea that you must stay focused in a particular area that has limitations might help in a forward direction for a moment that you need to go from point A to point B. But to have a bigger picture, you need an omnidirectional sight, and that's one that completely engulfs you and surrounds you. And there again, you're the chick inside the egg, and you are resonating within your environment to come into a greater understanding. So that's the character of need. The character of need is open to the squared composure of an omnidirectional sight. It now approaches the frame of distance.
Somehow that reminds me, the omnidirectional sight reminds me of the wrist, of the emblem on the wrist,
Mm-hmm.
of the hand that holds the situla,
Yeah.
the little bag.
Uh-huh.
There's something to do with time
Mm-hmm.
and omnidirectional sight, and that's symbol.
And it's a hidden force of Fae, it says.
Yeah.
The potency of this time is a hidden force of Fae that's rising. So, a rising time obviously means a new day, a new time of expression, a new place to be, a new frame of distance.
And in the center there is some of the early work, drawings that you did. That was the development of the work we do now.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to make a quick adjustment here in order for that. There we go. For that paragraph to come all the way up on the page. The compliant motion of vision is made more direct, and the course needed is taken with ease. What presses and what passes are not the same, and all is made more visible to the preferred realm of need. Oh, that is cool. What presses and passes are not the same, and all is made visible to the preferred realm of need. So as you go into that omnidirectional sight, which is one that you have to kind of want. So, if you want something, you have to ask for it. So your asking is, while you're listening to this right now, if you haven't heard of omnidirectional before, just say, I would like to have omnidirectional sight, which is an insight, but it's a broader scope.
And it could be a word that we break down for a small audio.
Yeah.
We talk about that.
You very well could do that. So the compliant motion of vision, one that goes along with you, is made more direct. A vision that you want to see is one that is moving with your desire. And the course needed is taken with ease. So if it's something that you're in harmony with, then it's going to become easy. So here you are dropping into this particular flip book or this particular audio right now. You and your desire are moving together. So the course becomes easy.
And that helps allow you to break down what's in the way of understanding your will and desire. Does that. Things that are in the way of our understanding now are sometimes over the eons. They're ways of the sight being blocked, not just for us, for many people. So it's starting these patterns, the avatars that we have on our site, and we'll share also in the spoons, will help open up areas where that's been blocked, or the ease of it has been blocked. So you can see a larger perspective in one time. It's like seeing also not only straight ahead but peripherally.
And these are tools for insight to be accentuated, to be made more vibrant for you.
Yes.
More, you become more in touch with even more insight as these, as the imagery and especially in the mycelial healing light and princial patterns. That is what they're designed for, is to open up so that the insight that you need can come more readily to you.
And these travel, the mycelial travels not only on our planet, but many, many other planets and galaxies and universes.
And I see the bottom here, this sentence is, and all is made more visible to the preferred realm of need. And that realm is the mycelial realm. It's Gaia. It's all this rooted earth that we all come out of and are connected to.
The conscious message of this turn is secret to the many, and the curve is vibrational. The sound vibrational scope of this distance is regulated by the fierce Fey insight, the time meaning the distance, and the distance meaning the positional note. The Fey are aware of the power of momentum, and their energy is transcendent and unerring.
That's wonderful.
That is so
And
good.
Robert, would you like kind of unpack? We're talking Fae, we're talking about it, but there's so many understandings of what Fae is. Could you unpack that a bit for us?
Well, Fae is anything from your very familiar sense of fairy, like Shakespearean fairies, the little folk, not the wee folk that are the leprechauns, of course. Let's make sure we get that one right. But the fairies are beings of light or insight. sight. So here's sight. That's an that's one that is bringing in the external visible material world, and then there's insight. That's from the inner realm coming out to meet you. And fae or fairy, if you change the spelling from fairy, as you know, these beings, to that contraption that gets a car across one landmass on water to the other, the ferry. What ferries do are they convey or carry from one place to another, one time to another, one space to another, one place to another, information.
Wow.
So ferries ferry across information. That's
It's like the
their
fairy
purpose.
lines.
They carry across energy. So energy, whether it's from inner thought or energy from the big boat out at sea, all of these are part of the Fey realm.
Well, like the elves. The Elvian is part of the Fey realm.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the best description
That's awesome.
of that. Thank you.
So fairy is everything from one photon resonating with another, and that dialogue, that communication that it
To
has.
a whole equation of people like
Yeah.
the elfin.
Yeah. So it goes across the whole spectrum. So the conscious message of this turn is secret to the many, and the curve is vibrational.
It's like the fairy light.
Yeah. So, and then, people say, a lot of people know about or have seen themselves the orbs of light. Some people are catching them on their cameras, and they're not all discounted as specks of dust, and others have seen them physically, as we have on the St. George
On
River.
the St. George River.
But that curve, it's a sphere, so that's a curved surface, and so the secret to many and the curve is vibrational. So they set up a vibrational field so that you can become aware of them when they choose to have that occur. Because you are in a space like the chick inside the egg, you are pecking at an exterior limit because you're wanting to resonate a new understanding.
Also, this collage, I love this. This is almost like walking
I do
through
too. I
in
like
and
that
out of
one.
the Fey world.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a lot of Fey shows up peripherally,
Mm-hmm.
but it also shows up in peripheral times of our life.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, it shows up for the female during major changes like puberty, childbirth, becoming a crone. These are like walking through the veils
Mm-hmm.
of knowledge, and that you're willing to take on. That's part of the feminine inherited energy, the Sophic intelligentsia. And I love this. This has the almost like as simple as a cup of tea,
Mm-hmm.
and experiencing
Really
that
love
whole
that.
Fey world, or walking through a portal like over here on the right
Mm-hmm.
with our daughter, and then down here being marked by the Fae. Here I've done this with my own face. These markings, putting also many Fae drawings that we have done over the body.
Like an overlay transparency.
Yeah, it's very powerful, and then pictures of collages of my daughter going through passage, like here down Root Child down in underneath Gaia, and this is all how we live inside of Fae and walk through layers of Fae and worlds of Fae as we walk through what we think is the ordinary world, but there's a huge shift inside of us because Fae is as much inside of us as it is outside. It's part of our expanding consciousness. The whole idea of Fae is an expanded consciousness. Okay, that's good.
Okay, so up here, they talked about the frame. Here. The frame being what is brought to a calm. Inside the forbidden zone of the mystery is the untorn, unwalled, uncovered sleeve of reach, and it poses itself for knowing the distant requirement. The feeling is reached deep down into, and the maze is penetrated to its core. All
Oh, I love
rights
that.
reserved, and all positions set for the full seated of passage. I have to do this on every single one. Okay. Let me. There we go. To be in the potented seat is of importance because the penetrated force of self must feel safe and protected. Now, the protected space of net 4, and in parentheses, af netaru, in parentheses, is what holds this in momental frequency, and the sound of C rotates the course. You want to explain the netaru a bit?
Huh?
Do you want to explain that af netaru?
I don't know. I don't know if I really can.
Okay.
Lots of things that are come into this
Oh,
writing.
it is in a protected space, yeah.
It's not like I know everything about the Netaru, and I know why it's in here. I don't.
That's so
A
cool.
lot of things come into here that I learn later because I've come acquainted with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm acquainted with Netaru, but Af Netaru or Net 4, that is part of this work. It's part of
Yeah.
the information.
That's what's below the surface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like I don't have that information fully right now, but I'm starting to travel through it.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. So everything in here is not that we understand everything ourselves, but we do understand that it will speak to us and will come to us, and it will be very leveled, and it will break apart in its own timing, where the body can receive it in safety.
Well, that's what we've had so much fun over the years of the realness of the classes. Is that just like the writing, they unfold organically. You know, there's nothing pre-scripted about any of this. It's just what unfolds, and that is
Yeah.
what is so.
But
When I mentioned,
But it is a protected space
Yeah.
now. That's good to know.
yeah,
And it holds a momental frequency in the sound of C that rotates the course. So that's the information that the other part of you needs, that makes you feel safe
yeah,
in the body, that helps your vagus nervous system
yeah.
actually calm. It doesn't need to understand it. It just needs to hear the codes.
Yeah.
Because see, it
I knew
already
that-
understands
I knew
it through
there's
the
a good,
codes.
There's such a good reason to ask you that question.
I had no idea I was going to do
I
that.
know, but
And-
it's, yeah.
But it's the truth, and
Mhm.
that's the raw truth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's our innocence and our very fragility, is that we actually enter and record and present this work with as much new stuff for us as it is for you.
Mm-hmm.
But we've also become acquainted with the language long enough, which eventually you will be, and we're going to on the site of the Long Spoon. We're going to start breaking down the language, and that was suggested by Diane. That was really cool. And breaking down the language little by little, so that the words can open up and expand within the work.
Yeah.
So we're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Life is so grateful for its own emerging forces, and we are the navigators of its own awareness.
Well said there.
That's
Wow, that's
perfect
a-
for that.
I know. I just listened. I
And
love
so, this is so alchemical. That's why it's the alchemical mind.
it. Yes.
And Alchemical Rede is because, as I said in the one of those little silly, not silly, membership appeals, when we mentioned about we have a an interest in alchemy is that, and one of the main reasons is because it doesn't land in a space where it says this is the answer,
Right.
the final answer. It says, okay, we've gotten to this part, now let's see what else is here. And it's a continual exploration.
Yeah. So it's so.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the artwork and photography and the collages we've done, they all get layered into this work. And so I love this whole layering
Mm-hmm.
here of the tea and the courage and emerging and the play and you writing and this picture that we're building.
Mm-hmm.
We are the navigators of its own awareness. And I love that. That's really... we're going to try, Robert, keep track,
Mm-hmm.
to keep this part at 2 hours.
Okay.
Just like we do with it. Because we really, it's hard to get, this is a class, to get it under 2 hours because it's in depth. But I think we can make it at 2 hours. And so we're going to try to do that so that you can kind of count on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that way
We're
you
half
can...
an hour in right now. So.
Yeah, that way you can actually, plan to have, a trip or whatever to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
The rotational speed is set into balance, and the central factor is resonant to our position of place, and we begin to know what our distance is. Now, these are all great words that in this language mean so much more than it does in our regular conversations. There's a speed that is rotational, and it is able to set things into balance. That's the first thing you're learning. Then the central factor is resonant. That means that it can speak to our position of place, and that it can resonate to it. So you have the resonational quality. And so the central factor is resonant to our position of place, to where we are and who we are. And we then begin to know what our distance is. And distance is, it'd be nice if you made it a capital, actually, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Distance we've examined, and it comes into this language a lot. And distance is really, it's a being, because it has a consciousness that settles at its feet, a consciousness that its travel from here to there, the consciousness of that travel we call the distance. And so in our regular language you say, well, how much distance did you cover? But in this language, the distance is it's the totality of that space. So
The
that kind of
awareness,
explains
yeah.
that to you.
Or conscious awareness of.
So the central factor is resonant to our position of place, and place is a very important part in this work. We talk about it because place is like when you have a sense of place, you really can settle into yourself. And so you have to learn to be able to take your place with you. And we do this, we've done it over years in the other books, but in Susanna's World, a children's book, one of the books is about place. And it's the place of real. And we're teaching a child or a person that how they can make everywhere they go their place of real. Otherwise, they're outside of place. And if they're not inside a place, they can't feel safety made real. And their root chakra is more threatened.
Yeah.
And the more threatened the root chakra is, the more fragile the ability to consciously shift and to expand. So we find our own ways to create place, not just that we have a bag full of money and a fancy home and everything's all settled around us and our family's all happy. We find that place is a lot of things. That place could be your favorite, as a child, your favorite stuffed animal. It could totally be place. I mean, the Velveteen Rabbit was place.
Yeah.
Also, place could be favorite colors. Like you wear some color and you always feel like you're home with yourself. You know, maybe you love black. I do. And maybe black just kind of, it makes you a little bit invisible. And in that invisibleness, you can actually travel more within yourself. And then there's also, but you have more room to do that. And then there's people that love to wear blue and red and orange and all yellow. All these things affect us, and they're all part of place. So a child would establish their favorite color, and they bring that with them. You know, they love green. Well, then they make sure that when they go out, they have something green, whether they're wearing it or maybe it's a pencil or a book bag or a purse or
I love that.
or their favorite frog.
Uh-huh.
But it establishes a place, and there's some colors that at different times establish place more than others. Sometimes you need red as place. Sometimes you need blue as place. So it's not like a hard set rule, but you do need place.
I would dare say that when Jim Henson was alive, place for him was that frog.
Yes, it was.
That was home. That was
was-
really where he lived inside that world.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
The perspective that now emerges is one that knows what is deeply inside of tone and how to use it to maintain life at a whole new level. And this is a whole awareness of the tone of someone's voice, the tone of something you do. It's also the tone of sound. It's like learning to relate to music. We're in a world now where we can have music at our fingertips, and it's wonderful because we are a world that is much more consciously aware of tone. And the ancients were that aware of tone. So we connect with the ancient world in this profound awareness of tone, but now we have it more available to us. We have it in the technology where the tones that make us feel like home, we can have them just at our fingertips. That has not been like it is now. So there really is a travel towards a sense of place, even though this world seems very disruptive and very unengaging of the safety of the place, and is very disrespectful of the place of people, like what is happening now in the Ukraine. So, but the Ukraine is moving so strongly because they do have a sense of place.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah.
The prayer of relief is heard, and the will focuses the emerging factors into the known future face of Fae. What is now ready is what is now desired and needed, so the focus will be powerful, organic, and actualized. There's a series of steps. A prayer of relief is an asking for, and then when you hear that relief happening, the will focuses the emerging factors because it has something to work with, and that's the known future face of Fae.
Wow.
The Fae carries the future forward from your focused will of relief, expansion, creativity, opening perspective to a new arena, like's happening right now. Those are all parts of it. So here are parts of those steps. What is now ready, because you've asked for relief, so you're ready for it because you're asking. What is ready is what is now desired and needed. So the focus will be powerful, organic, and actualized.
And the reason it's organic is because it is desired and needed. It comes out
of you.
Organically out of you.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
something
what's organic.
that's been
It
forced.
comes from within its own source.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love this. Well, I do like it. The collage you did here. You want to read it?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The full capacity of love is in its most...
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, I know.
In its most simple of ways that speak of total expression given.
And, the reason we're laughing is when you see the flip book, which this is page, what is it? Where's my glasses? Page 6. This one is a collage with
A diamond in the middle.
four corners, 4 images, and in the middle is a diamond shape. and in the center is me, and I have a kind of odd expression on my like duh expression on my face. So
Well, you've been playing with
made
Ethan,
made
the
the
boys.
most made the most simple.
And you've made a paper hat that
Yeah.
you're
I was
wearing.
gonna say,
Yeah.
it looks like a coffee bill.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it is the most simple of ways, because our creativity, mine
Is
and
very-
Robert's, is
very very.
it comes out of the most simple of ways. It
Very
really
childish.
does, which is very. It looks childish. It feels when you, but it is not at all.
It's very organic.
It's deep
isn't it?
knowledge.
Yeah.
And we're not making, we make it up in the sense that,
Everything's made up.
yeah, but we also realize that it's deep knowledge because it's given us a great sense of safety.
Yeah.
It's given us also a great sense of story and a great sense of illumination.
Mm-hmm. And I love that the one in the lower right corner, that collage. Several of our pieces of work, but this is the collage that says "Seeker" on it. And so that's such a gift when you
And that's the way
are
I see
comfortable with terminology that's given to you by yourself or others. That I feel that I am this, or I feel that I do this, and you own it. And the seeking is something we've always done together. So I love
And
that.
that's what I see you as. And then
Thank
up
you.
there in
I
the
see
right
you
hand
the same
corner
way.
is a piece we did called The Muse.
Mm-hmm.
He's very busy. And then we have the
Little starry character over
Starry.
there.
yeah, and then below that is Syrian Fey lines,
mhm.
and that's
Let's see.
what are they?
Not tri-sat, obviously. It's and fold sat, but
They must be fold set.
fold sat. That's
Yeah.
fold sat. Yeah.
There's a two.
And the Syrian Fey lines. You'll see more of them on the site.
Yeah.
The full wheel of fortune is caught in its spin, and it is Fibonacciized to the next level, now climbing the spiral of support. What is favored is realized, and this is the evolvement of what is known as the age of Fae. So,
And this is now.
yeah. So
Yeah,
conscious
yeah.
evolvement. I mean, conscious expansion, consciousness expanding, becoming more aware is the involvement known as the age of Fae. I love that.
That's the age we're coming into.
So that wheel of fortune is caught in its spin. It's like you see a spinning disc of the wheel of fortune, and you grab it and stop it, and at that point or that place or that position, a Fibonacci energy expands and comes out to the next level. So Fibonacci is like a fiddlehead fern. It just keeps unfolding, but it has a picture of all of itself, no matter how large or small you make it.
Oh, I
And
love
that's
that.
climbing the spiral of support. So where you've decided to plant yourself or land or stop to think about something is you've taken that spin and you've grabbed a hold of it and become part of it.
And it's just
That's cool.
well, and also in the let's see, I was looking at another piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Well, in the age of Fae is actually what that is, the door that's opening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yes.
and people wonder, what that is. It's the age of Fae is transcendent.
Mm-hmm.
It is transcendent. It is
Emerson would be pleased.
he would be pleased. Yeah.
Wonder what he's
Yeah.
doing now.
And so we're learning. Also, we think of Fae people that are not as oriented sexually as what is thought normal. See, that is a lie. Because in the age of Fae, that is an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that flexibility, that slidability in the sexuality that allows the consciousness to move more easily.
To move back
So,
and forth between.
As we become more potent in ourselves and become more forgiving
and
integrated, we'll realize that in the sliding, that actually we can create a momentum.
You want to read that one?
The golden age of the idea is completed, and the source beyond source pitches into the of our ozone. We are carried by the edge and we sail our way into the potency. All is couched into this, and a real rise is made. All is marked by the code, and the codex of fish file is fully accessed for power. That's really packed.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Om is a sacred toning,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a healing toning. So the Om, the sacred toning, remember the resonant
Mm-hmm.
of place, is actually going into our own ozone to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
heal it.
Mm-hmm.
We are carried by the edge, and we sail our way into the potency. And the edge is like peripheral,
Mm-hmm.
right on the edge, right on the periphery. We're carried, and that's with the Fey world. They're right on the periphery of our vision. But if we are able to accept what's peripheral to us, not just what's straight ahead, we can catch on to that. It's like catching wind with your sail,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you can move into the potency that comes with that kind of sight and realization. It's like Einstein and all these geniuses. They catch the sail of that potency. They have that peripheral edge vision,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not cut off into. It's circular and square, so nothing is cut out. All is couched into this, and a real rise is made. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
All is marked by the code, and the codex of fish file is fully accessed for power. And the fish file is really so much about, well, our name Sigil Codex, so much about the dream waters, so much about the that we are sigillus of information, of content, of water. Water holds content of information, and so the fish file codex is what we call the archives of that kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to read that?
Okay, the collage here is moving.
It's the Egyptian.
Oh, yeah.
Several. I love these. We had these. We have several sandboxes. We'd love to work with sandboxes. My boys all would love to be in the sandbox, but I had a sandbox on legs in their room, big long one. But they used to play with their Star Wars toys, and you know it's the age of working with power in a different way and the force,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was a really good way for them to actually have the sand play
Mm-hmm.
to help them move into adulthood and men. And so, but this is so fun. This is a dream sand table, a sandbox
Mm-hmm.
that I've made, and I've gotten these Egyptian um, pieces that are, you know, they look like the different Egyptian gods in Neteru, and so I've made them. They have like a boat of Ra. I move them around. There's a box behind the box. It's very good. It's very healing, and sand play can be worked into your sacred all the time. You can have your actual your play, the figures, or you can have what's sacred to you. You can move it in a sandbox and make it part of what marks you into a new code.
Mm-hmm.
And also heals. I mean, that's why sand play is used to heal the soul and the body and the mind.
Yeah. Oh, on the collage it says, moving through the duat, all territory becomes spoken, and the words are more alive and spelled out and driven through. Oh.
Wow, that one is really awesome description.
Iconic is the language of this time, and only Fae know it well. The sacred visitation encounters us, and we embody the presence of Fae. We are archived and riddled into the reality of message, the messenger being our own willingness to become.
And the Egyptian world is so fey.
Uh-huh. And the reality of message is archived and riddled, so it's ancient. It has it's riddled in the sense it's riddled with information is what it is, but it's so multi-layered. That's why it feels like a riddle
Yeah.
until you unpack something and become more familiar with it.
And we live in this.
Then it's more knowable, more recognizable because you've riddled down through the layers.
Well, also another thing is, can you come back up to that?
Yeah.
Is that in this world we live inside this in a very big way, and so do the children do the Marvel series.
Mm-hmm.
In Marvel, it's like it's a whole world that is really beyond all. It's peripheral. It's really beyond all the limits of the everyday life, but it's made so storyable and so moldable to our needs that it has become iconic for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all at once, what we would complain about being riddled is part of its attraction. That it has layers upon layers of story and secrets and powers that have not been fully embodied or in the process of being embodied. And you follow the Marvel characters as they go through this, becoming becoming more part of a peripheral world like the Fae.
Yeah.
A world where, you know, the boundaries of the everyday world are not their boundaries. So I think that's that this is really reflective of the iconic world
Uh-huh.
that is absolutely, we're, that's our playground.
Yeah. So if
That's our sandbox.
yeah, and if you, as you have done here, if you gather up the iconic imagery of a culture, the very fact that you're doing that is you are embracing it for some reason that becomes more clearly known to you as you are in connection with them.
Well, as you want to know a people
Yeah.
and understand a people, then the fastest way is to understand what's sacred to them.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of our study and a lot of our work is, what is sacred to people. Through knowing that, you know more about them than anything else.
I love that this last sentence in this paragraph. The messenger being our own willingness to become. There's the umbilic egg again with the chicken side
yeah.
wanting to become. So
Yeah.
he's bringing the message of himself into a completed
Okay, we're
flesh form.
53 minutes into this
Yeah,
class.
we're halfway through and we're on page 8 now. So we got 35 pages.
Well,
so
we're
we
gonna
may
have to
pick up the
speed
pace
up
a
here.
little bit here
Okay.
to keep it in there.
Okay.
We reach forward into the become, and the magic rhythm begins to beat inside the into of our mind, and we are synced into ourselves fully. The temperate of nature holds us as elemental and seals our destiny into our own power. So that is really reaching into this being in sync with yourself by integrating the elements that you are.
Mm-hmm.
From electronic element, your electrical pulses to your molecular makeup, your cellular information moving through your body, all of that is in sync with yourself. And there's a destiny and a power in that because you exist. In this collage here.
Right in the face of Ra is what is now needed. The goddess Bastet knows how to get his attention. I love this one.
That's very good.
It's really fun.
And I love the interaction between the various characters in the icon, but also the reality of Egypt. These were iconic, but they came from a reality, and that's what these are just representative of what is.
That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. The potency fails us not, and we are consolate to the full capacity. We are called, we are worded, we are leaved for the wealth of growth. We call ourselves home from the future. We are sensed in all ways, and our capacity of body expands its present power.
I love how time really moves all around in that
It sure
paragraph.
does. It does.
It, from leave to lead, and
Uh-huh.
then our capacity from ourselves. I love we call ourselves home from the future.
Yeah.
I love that too.
That's a circle. That's a real connection from one place to another.
So we always think we're trying to get somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but in actuality, we've already been there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The relationship of process and felted warms our way, and our fibers are merged into a full-formed foundation that is now supporting our future. The sacred formula that releases the holy waters of the rising tide begins to unfold its numbers.
And that's really powerful.
Yeah. So if the situla is a holy vessel, and the waters that are within it are from that vessel accepting the waters, and so the sacred formula that releases the holy waters of the rising tide begins to unfold its numbers. So it's almost like if you have this vessel, a clay vessel, and it's 3/4 way filled with liquid,
Mm-hmm.
and if you add more, it's at some point those number of the volume, which is a designated number, how many gallons, how many whatevers, then it begins to spill out. It releases from the rising tide, and that unfolds its numbers. It's just like as you gather information or something new,
Mm-hmm.
you fill up with it until the point where all of a sudden you're more at one with it, and it just kind of naturally, organically comes out of you.
It made me think too that if you're a vessel and you hold so many ounces,
Mm-hmm.
Suppose you hold 8 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
If you establish that as place,
Mm-hmm.
even when you pour out, you will never not hold 8 ounces. So
Like that.
as you pour out, you're being poured in at the same exact moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never a vessel empty. That it's like the whole process. They think talk about becoming an empty vessel,
Mm-hmm.
but in the real formula, that's unaltered from its origination.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is you don't ever notice, because as the vessel empties, it is its definition in itself as place
Mm-hmm.
is it holds 8 ounces.
Yeah.
And that definition of itself in place creates the need, and the need is fulfilled, so it never loses an ounce,
No,
but it pours out anyway.
that's so cool. Okay, here you have a bottle of water, 8-ounce bottle of water.
Mm-hmm.
So that's itself, and there it is, 8 ounces. You pour the water out, but the bottle is still 8 ounces.
Because it's filling at the same moment.
It's
Because
filling
of its
with
need to be
and
placed.
guess what it's filling with?
What?
It's filling with air. Air is displacing the water, and as the water leaves, the air comes in until now you have a bottle of 8 ounces of air. So the elements are always exchanging within each other.
Well, see, I
So-
saw it
but
where the
the-
bottle was
But
still
the vessel
had
is
water.
Yeah, but I like that.
It's
Well,
being
air,
filled with
air
water.
always has vapor. It's always
Yeah,
combined.
air is vapor, so it's
Yeah.
water.
So there it is, but also it's not only the liquid; it's the bottle. They're integrated. They're whole. They're complete. That is so
If
cool.
you ever want to see that,
Mm.
all you have to do is watch the wonderful Christmas film, The Bishop's
Why?
Wife. And in the end of the film, Cary Grant is like the angel, and he's
Mhm.
given this older man who's
Mhm.
wonderful this, the man has this bottle of wine.
Yeah.
He picks it up and he shares it, and he doesn't have much money,
Mhm.
and
He's
he
sharing
pours
it
it
anyway.
out, and as he pours it out, the bottle is still full.
Mm-hmm.
It fills right up immediately, so it's being filled, and the moment it releases, and that's the way it happens
so
with us
cool.
as vessels.
Yeah.
We are never giving that we are not being given to. It's
And that's
like
the long
in the
spoon.
children's Dreamtime, Turkey, which we saw the other day.
Mm-hmm.
The other day when we were driving
Oh, that's
over
right.
to Camden.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was beautiful.
I forgot about that. Oh.
The turkey was all about that you can't be taken from
Mm-hmm.
because you've already given. And that is the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the sacred formula, the relationship of our process, and felted warms our way. So the process of being felted,
Mm-hmm.
being one that feels,
Mm-hmm.
warms our way, and our fibers are merged into a fully formed foundation that is now supporting our future. So this is prophetic, this work.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now our future is becoming fully formed and supportive because of the process of feeling
Mm-hmm.
and it actually feeling felts us into our own fibers. The sacred formula that releases the holy waters of the rising tide begins to unfold its numbers. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to read the collage.
Tailoring our lives into a squared perspective. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has more meaning and momentum.
Mm-hmm. We will
That's
get,
fabulous.
yeah, we'll get into the squared perspective.
Well,
as
we
we
had
go
it
along.
on the October.
Yeah, yeah.
We talked about it, but it's a very deep topic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a deep well.
Mhm.
So we'll keep filling it up.
Mm-hmm.
The folds of the mother began to enfold the wetlands of ancient property. The sacred numbers unlock the hold, and all is waited for unrolls its brilliance. The raised beds of earth, washed by the rise and rich silt, embodied new life.
Mm. Well, that does have ancient roots because it feels like the Nile. You know how
Mm-hmm.
the rich silt was after the flooding was there for the bottom
That's
land.
it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The life of women freed of the pawns want children freed of the seed sown for labor on a palette void of color. The silted resonance washed underfoot for the embrace of Fae, watered to its full power. Shared is the space of the seed, and the potency is revealed in the cones of memory once again beyond time deficit. So as the cones of memory was like the pineal, because they talk about them having rods and cones just like the eye, the retina. So here this insight has the potency to reveal that once again beyond time deficit. So we're moving beyond a deficit where labor is what is chosen to exchange for time.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're really here to express.
Yeah. And I
I
love
love
this
this.
collage.
Oh, I love it. This is
little.
it's a little cardboard box that,
Oh, yes, yeah.
and
okay.
it was really prepared for artists to use to paint on and
Uh-huh.
everything. And I don't know, I just had to write, so that became the palette, and I really had so
This
much
may-
fun.
This
Rob's
may
gonna
find
do a
its way.
video
I was
with
going to
this.
say, this may find its way
Maybe you
and
can
the
do
long
that
spoon.
in this long spoon for you.
Because
Yeah.
these are
Oh,
characters.
well, then
box.
this box, it's
and
got
what's
a
in it.
story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The sacred secret of the silent beauty of the grace of this time is immense in all ways. The revealing code of reference is in the knelt into, and the forming matter is Om in its response.
Well, that reminds me so much that there was an egg similar,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote all over it, and then I set it inside this box, and it would be like the Om.
That's the secret character
And
inside
and
the
that was the
box.
secret character that
Mhm.
you were going to do the video
Mhm.
of having the
sacred
lid and
secret.
having the lid moving down and the egg coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That is the sacred secret of the silent beauty
And once
of
again,
the grace of
it
this
happened
time is
again
immense.
because there it is, the sacred. I said the egg is the sacred, the secret inside that box, and here's the sacred secret. But this picture was placed in there after this was written, but unread. It was just intuitively placed without reading these
Oh my God,
pages.
you're
All
right.
of these images that go into this flip book are just land. They just say, I want to be on that page, I want to be on that page, I want to be on that page, and then it shows up, and they're so well integrated. I just love it when that happens.
I think that it feels like that's like a real visual for like the book that you had written, The Language of Boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
seeing that is so animated. That's such a cool.
This will be
visual.
one of the characters when we do,
Oh, that's so
when
great,
we do
Christy. I
a
love
little
that.
film on.
Yeah.
We're going to do a film on each of the books. It may take us a couple years to do it, but we're going to do it.
Do you realize that also could? That looks like a temple wall. The hieroglyphs.
It does, doesn't it?
My gosh, I hadn't thought about
It looks
that.
huge.
Yeah,
Oh, that is wonderful insight.
an immensely small box.
Wow.
It is.
Thank
To be
you.
potent and formed in emotion is to be ready for the tinted way that is pyramidal in square. I love that. You are intentioned in the You are intentioned in the tint of intentional, and your way is a tinted way of power. The race, the numbered reeds of red, and the words of matter is formed into a letter of opening. I love that.
Oh, that is awesome.
You got up.
I love the tinted way of power.
And I love the where the tinted way that is pyramidal in square, because it's a square that the pyramid's base is. But the tint, that's so cool.
Well, and tinted is based on intentioned.
Yeah.
And so when the tinted way of power, people that have a certain intention, that's why they went to living in tents. And it gave them the versatility of travel. It gave them the power of knowledge, traveling all over. It was very pyramidal way of living, and I love that in this language, the character of tinted way is part of it. You might put a capital on the P, Robert.
On pyramid. Okay. Oh, and the other thing.
Of power.
Oh, P. Oh,
And the
yeah,
race,
got it,
the
got it.
numbered reeds of red. Yeah, the race. The numbered reeds of red and the words of matter is formed into a letter of opening. That's quite a riddle. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Well, and you've always talked about too with tint and pyramidal. It is the manifestation of trinary energy. You know, it's so when you are intentional or using intent, it's a balance of the trinary. It's a balance of the knowing, feeling, and recognition, where then there's momentum and power and direction. So, and that's what intention is. Is
That's fabulous. I'm glad you shared that.
And I see the pattern that's unfolding here. It says the race, the numbered reeds of red, the words of matter is forming in a letter of opening. Well, one thing I wanted to point out is you got the words of matter is. And what we're working with here is not grammar. We're working with time. So there's an isness or a presence to the is of these multiple things. So there's not it's not an R in this, it's an is. So the words of matter is formed in a letter of opening. And the other thread is the opening word. The letter of opening starts with the word O. And at the beginning of this book, there's ohm and ozone.
Oh my God.
And the 0 point, all the O's are the zeros, which are the curved sphere of vibration that was first talked about. So that O is O and opening. They're all part of the same vessel.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And the collage here, you want to read that one?
All the life in a home waits for you to see all that is hidden in Rhythm Marie.
I love that. So look around. Okay, right now,
With the
whoever's
yeah,
listening,
I
right
see something
wherever you are, yeah, look around your room and do that little game. I see something you don't see. Just see where where your eyes land.
Oh, mine's on the clock up
Yeah,
there.
and see what speaks to you from what you're looking at. It is not an object. Life is not a series of objects. Life's a series of expressions and companionship.
And rhythms.
And so
Rhythm
the Fae, yeah, the Fae is rhythming what your eyes landed on. So there's a purpose in whatever you're looking at right now that you're thinking about, because everything in your home is alive and has a consciousness that connects it to you and you to it. That's why you picked it. That's why it's in your space with you.
Well, as we work galactically and universally and planetarily, we have our home as a postage stamp of this planet we live on.
And we made it up.
And we made and what we do is in that room, everything we do in the room is to support what part of our planet needs support.
You can lock
And that's the rhythm Marie.
Mm-hmm. You can
The
lock
rhythm
it.
Marie.
You can move it down to its lowest common denominator and say it's symbolic of. But it's not symbolism, it's an actuality. But you have to dive deep enough to have that connection with what's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay. The spiral presence of the square is overcome in the created reach. The folding matter of what is now time travels more easily, and the nature is transcribed into the threshold more completely.
I like overcomed instead
I
of just
love that.
overcome. There's something more about overcomed than overcome.
Settle.
It's really
That is wonderful.
mm-hmm.
The motionary direction now looks into place.
Locks.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I maybe need to make the
Make it
a
bigger,
little.
would you?
I mean,
The motionary
expand
direction
that a
now
little bit.
locks into place.
Look.
Yeah, that's better.
Better. There
The
you go.
secret initiation is made clear, and the comfort rises within you for the manifestational clarity and the ease of posture. Oh, this picture's perfect with that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Walking ourselves through the words we write, we realize that words do not come from our minds.
That's an expansive bit of insight.
Okay.
The naked awareness expresses more freely within you, and you are open in all ways for success and abundance of uncompromising success. Forward shields you as you move into the speed of elevated frequency. The squared positional equation is now brought into a clear view, and you imprint its wealth. So, the wealth of information, the wealth of communication, and the wealth of connection are all brought forward. And the forward shields you. So the forward is a presence. It's not just a direction. So forward shields you as you move into the speed of
And it
elevated
becomes
frequency.
a presence because of intention.
Yeah.
When something is completely intended, it becomes alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The topical is felt as it enters your skin relationship with magic, and the radiance is completely connected to your true volume. The raised purpose of what is sought is lettered out into a coded fish file memory. The topical is felt as it enters your skin relationship with magic. You ever hear something, or you become aware of something, and the hair on your arms raises, or you feel that whole. That's the
That's a signal for a lot of people.
Topical felt. Yeah.
When they have that, that's a real signal to them
Yeah.
about the importance of something or the rightness of something or a decision that they
Yeah.
need to make.
Yeah, and that's a magical relationship because it's one that extends beyond more of a mundane.
Well,
presence.
when you get that, what you're really dealing with is the peripheral.
Uh-huh.
It's your outer edge.
Mm-hmm.
Your outer edge of recognition of something. It's like the outer crust, so the outer cordial of you is signaling you of something that you need to pay attention to. So that's very fey.
I love the raised purpose of what is sought is lettered out into a coded fish file memory. So, those of you that are new to this, the fish file memory is an encodement of our water self, our watery nature, our inner nature. And on the website, there are the books of the fish file codex, and there's an extensive number of books there that you can you
made
can
most of them. There's 20. Is it 26?
there's one for each
For
letter of the alphabet,
Yes.
and I don't think they're all on there yet because we haven't gotten them all there, but
We've got a lot
there's
of them.
quite a few there. There's
Folding
over a dozen.
This collage is folding the corners away from the center. I love this one. The content begins to unroll the needed.
Folding
that
the corners away
delicious?
from the center.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like origami. So you've got the square folded in. All of its points go into the center, and then actually, if you were to take that and raise it up, you'd have like a pyramid. But they're folded into the center, and then the content begins to unroll the need. I love that.
I love this one. I could just look at it all day.
That is beautiful. The colors are gorgeous.
Reminds me of one of the themes for October that you talk about the squared perspective and folding all the corners of yourself. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So and you can reference back to that month.
That's true. You can
Yeah.
fold things
Mm-hmm.
from month to month, going back and forth, corrugate them.
Yeah.
The threshold of a yearned identity becomes known, and the feeling is rich and potent and filled with joy. Loved through this essence is connecting in all its volumes. The total expression is awarded in volume, positioning of speed, power, joy, and embracement. So we don't think about these different feelings as they're part of the expression, but also a voluming, a positioning of volume.
Mm-hmm. That,
Like that.
yeah, connecting expression with speed, power, joy, and embracement. It's really that's a formula. Volume of positioning.
In fact, we have within the books. There's always initiating formulas that are within the words that help assist. And what Robert's just pointed out is this is one of them.
So as you read through these, hearing is one thing too, but reading through it, there'll be parts like you're going yeah, and then all of a sudden, as there's a deeper connection. It's like you're not quite familiar with it, but you know it's traveling. The fact that you know it's traveling and you are traveling on the words, which are like the fey lines of information, then you know you're moving in a forward direction to have an expanded view of things, a deeper insight.
Now we're
Which is
into
what I
the
work
class
about.
1 hour and 18 minutes.
Okay, and
So we're
we
gonna have
are
to
on
speed up a little bit.
page 14. Let's talk faster now.
The place volume is set into the reeds, and the waters deepen for nourishment. And the reeds, you think about the reeds and the ponds and everything, but they're almost like you see people, taking a reed and being able to breathe through it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're tonal. They're tonal. So they have a relationship with water and air and sound. So the place volume is set into the reeds, and the waters deepen for nourishment. The stone ones float to the surface is not their usual nature, but resonant for this time. The spirit integrity is marked with a responsibility, and all is set into real property.
I love it. So you have this very curious thing that stones are floating to the surface. Like, how's that possible? But that there's more to know about that.
Well, they're filled with sound
Yeah.
more than heaviness.
Yeah.
Strangeness is a quality about myself. Oh, I put this in.
Uh-huh.
This is a new one I made the other day. Strangeness is a quality about myself I have begun to get more comfortable with. You know, it's all the things of this journey.
I love the headlamp.
The different shapes of my body and how it changed and went through in my personality and my ability to speak and express and the physicalness of working with so much currency and the rattling my teeth out and all of that. It's just it's strange. It becomes strange. I don't feel I've been more the work than what I used to look like or be like, and I've gotten used to it. And actually, I like her. I forgive her for what I thought I lost in this journey of my body changed immediately when I began with this work and channeling through the surfaces of the sounds and the art and the markings, and that it marked me in so many ways, and I survived it, and I am quite amazed, and that it brought a strangeness to me and my life and me that I'd not been familiar with, and I've lived through it in so many levels.
You have.
Yeah, I'm rather pleased with that I've begun to become more comfortable.
The purposing factor of allowing pushes forward into the earthing signal, and the volume begins to appear in all levels of life. Process yourself fully, and the turn will open into a full Fibonacci spiral of intention. Love the earthing signal. And I think that's the comfort that you get with being who you are and what you look like at any given point in time is...
Is it still going?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There you go. Is an earthing signal.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So there's an inner okay, so you're talking about the inner resonance, which is insight. So a Gaia obviously has an inner core, so that's its insight, and it resonates. It's an earth signal. There's a, what is it called? That there's a term out there. Certain hertz, that is the Schumann, the Schumann signal, that is a matching resonance between people and Earth. So,
well, as we move through this class today, we have changed in many ways and rhythms as we've done this class over the last 10 years. And we finally came to a point where we were more capable of unpacking more of it so that we could dig down under the water and become leviathans and bring it up. And when we first started, we really could hardly do that. And you'll notice that we're mostly Robert and I are talking now, and everybody else is coming in periodically, but not as much, because the intention is to receive the material. The intention is to give us room to unpack it, and that then later conversation can come from that. But if we worry about conversation at this point, we won't be able to stay with it enough to unpack it, that we have conversation.
at the depth that we need.
And so there's a real wanting and a real desiring for the unpacking of this information. So all of us have kind of stayed with that, and stayed with the focus of staying on the point of allowing it to emerge in our understanding. Yeah. So it's not they're not allowed to talk right now. They're so
They're
interested
quietly
in
listening.
they're busy
Well,
listening.
well,
We
actually,
want to
that-
make sure we don't miss
That
anything.
happens to us too when we're creating something, when we're painting. We're so interested in see what's happening that we're creating
We're
it,
quiet
but
for hours.
but we're participating and observing at the exact same moment. So we're gaining as much as you are as we listen to whatever comes
with his
forward.
class.
The tinted
I
spiral
love
of
this
change.
picture too. Okay.
The tinted spiral of change creates a rise in the motion of emotion, energy, and the accepted is forgiven of its need, and the desire longs for the space of what is from the inner tapestry of deep inner felt, emerging from its wedded circumference of know, to know something. So, wedded circumference, it's already your inner core, your inner sense, your inner self is already wedded to um, that sphere of 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 being, of existing.
And the wedded
So it
is the
has the
comfort.
desire. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a desire to know. There's a innate curiosity, but cultures and circumstance a lot of times just um, squash that down or um, slow it down, prevent it, and this is a space in the long spoon to come back into touch uh, or enjoy hearing again about this deeper inner landscape that has so much to give.
I love this collage with what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually Robert playing with Ethan, and they're having a very good time.
We have these dinosaur hats on
Yeah,
or something. Yeah.
yeah. And the collage says, "How do we talk when we are young?" And love this that it didn't. How did we talk?
Mm-hmm.
Because I noticed that, but it's all time being one time.
Mm-hmm.
How do we talk when we are young? That is different from how we hear ourselves now.
That's a good question. That's a circle of growth. The full tapestric layering is pulled into its own image, and the tantric communion of this face realizes its own divinity. The part that essence takes is the part that is made by this tantric face of communication.
I love that
Yeah.
with these faces close up.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tantra is really the traveling
Yeah.
through your consciousness.
Energetic communion.
Yeah.
Yep. The host of contemplation holds the sacred taste of memory that rises to the senses of love, tinctured into a current of truth, revealed as force of Fae.
And this is what happens when you make the flower essence tinctures.
Yeah. As the nature of Fae embeds itself more deeply into the reason, the reasonable matches both inside and outside parameters, which then open the gate of memory.
And this is exactly the match that happens with the flower essence and the emotions. And when a person matches their emotions match with flower essence, this is what's taking place.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then the
it's
collage is
building frame upon fragile frame will strengthen the voice of the many who corrugate and fold.
wow.
Love that.
Gated is not the purpose, and gated is not the reason. As the link between known and unknown, forgive the difference. Matched into resonance, the harmonizing notes of, matched into resonance, the harmonizing notes relinquish their particular resonance and bring forward the behind of left.
And this is what happens in your house every day.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is, a livingness that's in your home between you and everything that has become part of place. And it is going through this matching of resonance, a harmonizing of voice, of notes, relinquishing different ones, learning to blend to be part of another, at the same time moving forward and behind it,
I
back
love,
and forth.
yeah, bring forward the behind of left, so there's nothing left behind.
Yes, that's
It
right.
really is. It's another way of saying it, but I love the link between known and unknown is forgiven of the difference. So there's a resolution that happens. There's no beating yourself up because you didn't know something before you knew it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so that you can come into something new and feel good about it instead of feeling like, well, why didn't I know about this a couple of years ago, or any of those.
Meaning gathers its position and makes the maid open to the sound of voice, reaching into the veil and bringing out the accepted version of time timing. This prevents the closure of unlimitedness and expresses the willingness natural to all organic matter. Wow. This piece goes with it so beautifully. It's like this is our daughter Susanna and our son Jeff are that are the most beautiful couple. Oh, they're not.
Son-in-law.
They're son-in-law.
There you go. For those that are unfamiliar.
I think Jeff was like a son before he ever became a son-in-law, so that's so funny. Love is love, and that's is all it is. And it is always, you need to make it bigger. I can't. And it is always magic in Sherwood Forest for Robert. Oh.
For Robin and Maid Marian.
Yeah, Robin and Maid Marian.
I think you're tired.
I think I am tired.
Okay.
But I love this picture with that.
Yeah, it's perfect for that. Mattered is the reason for delay, and mattered is the assistance needed to perform the necessary steps to climb the chambered walls of adherence. Adhered is the programmable matter that relates itself to a new attaching to old as a way around the contingent nature of natural. The force of Fae meets itself as a new relief, met in a space of time, energizing itself for a more relaxed format of information carried out to the edge of molecular stability.
Which is the world of Fae, at the edge of molecular stability.
Stabilizing the results of organic thinking met with memory cleared of judgment. The forward movement advances and clears the way for sovereignty.
And that's what we talk about, that forward memory cleared of judgment is what we call twice told.
Yeah.
The second time around. And then that makes room for the sovereignty. It can actually establish roots as place.
Yeah.
And look at that
Is
place.
that in Fine Art America, that piece?
No.
That's really cool. Really
Thank
like that.
you. The awareness of Fae opens the eye to the I. I, the letter I, to the I, E-Y-E. So I'll read that again. The awareness of Fae opens the eye to the eye of sight, seeing, realization. The realized nature of natural opens the eyes to a trinary syncopation, resulting in the narrow focus becoming more envisioned of the cellular retina optic. How's that for a formula there? So realizing the nature of natural opens the eyes. So Fae is natural, and that's what the eyes are being open to.
And that creates the retinal imprintation.
Yeah, of the healing patterns. Cleared of visional limitations, the understanding opens its passages for the complete fish-fowl dialogue, an understanding of lettered arrangements, nodal in scope, and natured into bringing forward a presence made real and comprehended through the alphabet of water.
Now look at her, and that really.
And there she is in her little
there
raincoat.
There she is, the resonance, and she's the language.
Yeah.
She's covered with the language.
And here's the swimming through the. So swimming through the depth of water's embrace, the myrrh and the Fae meet at the edge and retain individuality and cooperative embracement of the unique nature of diversity. As the elementals align within the sphere of round and open the portal to commit, the relief finds the ease ready to move into place and solidify the connection between seen and unseen. So there's the Fae of the upper world and the myrrh of the beneath the surface world.
Wow.
The portal of commitment between the two, and relief is there, and things become easy. Both the seen and the unseen work together. By moving the consciousness into the level of engaged, the monitoring of progress assumes the fibered relief needed and necessary for the threaded mycelial network to connect its resonance into field placement and a pulsed dimensionary pitch. So that's like, You know how the roots of a tree, they're all reaching for water.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a, a sympathetic connection that for both of them. And there's a collage.
Moving through one's own memory of home, allowing all the rooms to speak of their own needs.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's everything we've been talking about.
Yeah. Pitched forward are the threads of existence that pave the way into a languaged presence noted by its ability to position itself within the sound of resonance.
And this collage is so wonderful because Robert is busy positioning things in the house and working on this little fairy village that's behind where I
that's right.
sit. We sit.
Yeah, we were putting the little
Yeah,
fairy
and you're
lights in.
putting them all into place. So it was perfect.
Resonance carrying the language of Fae forward beyond the complicated of not. N-O-T.
Unfelt, unheard, unseen, all reasons not to look forward toward. Unreasonable is the stance of refusal of real. To make ready the nurtured and the swaddled is to embody the need, the want, and the desire. The force of Fae brings to the scene the expanded view and the elongated approach, taking in the harmonical nature of nature and the timing of its presence. Whoa, that is wonderful.
And then
And this one I love, this collage. This is, you'll get to see it. It's Robert working with different lighting and things in the home for the holidays. And it says,
Page
he is
21.
not afraid of magic and the life of small. The land of small awaits his very alive little boy.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So
I
I
know.
take that as a high compliment.
We're got about
One and a half, half an hour to go.
yeah. So let's,
And we're on page 21.
and how many pages do we have?
36, I think.
Oh, we can get there. The Sophic intelligentsia moves through the mother's voice and brings with it the storied existence needed to proclaim the rights of the listened and the heard within the realm of Fae, the realm invisible to those unable to refuse limit. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Announced is the rest assured that moves the ease forward and the amount of time to zero. 0 point is the body's natural nature in the organic mycelial composite fleshed into being. Oh God, I love that.
that's
I did too. I did too.
And you want to read the collage?
As each pattern weaves into another, we begin to see the threads between and their infinite reach.
That's exactly what that paragraph is.
That's,
Oh,
yeah,
that is
it's-
so
isn't
perfect.
that perfect?
Oh,
I love that collage.
The molecular makeup is the nature of storied existence and travel, necessary to find the way into the right angle that increases the speed toward home free. Freedom amounts and the necessary numbers increase their value upon entry.
wow.
Entered into the price and relief and understanding come with the timed expenditure, moved into a new position that allows for the flow to register and the amount of memory needed to map the expanse of planetary, galactic, universal, and solar arrayed positioning into a navigational course.
Wow. This is about orbit here
Uh-huh.
too. And I barely,
Wow.
I'm so sorry I didn't make the,
Oh, that's
the
okay.
edge wide enough.
It's fine.
Silently waiting, listening, and allowing the orbit of play to enter what you have forgotten to see. I
Yeah.
absolutely,
That is
I'm
so
going to go
perfect.
back and widen that. I'll correct it later, but because it's such an awesome collaboration between picture and word.
Mm-hmm. The charted path is the unknown path, becoming known within the footed reach, placed in front of before, and coming after the last. Each direction knows its way through, and the between matches each side and sews together the shaping reality of change.
Oh
Wow,
God, that's
that's
so
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. Y'all like that too.
Yeah.
Treated by the Fae to a motion of willingness, the host of being brings into view the edge of vision and places upon it the mantle of worded coverage, the blanket of value beyond number accountment and geometric rising volumes.
That reminds me so much of the story of Santa Claus and being given the mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a being that, is changing the world through play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's the mother raven on top of that, the seer.
I love that.
Treed by the math of numerical positions, the mycelial olfactory presence brings the earth to the face of each individual. This awakens the locked memory and restores the consciousness to a fabric that weaves itself back into the awakened memory of wholeness. It's like that whole
right.
thing
And
of
it's
smelling the earth,
Well,
and
it's this
how-
time of year too,
Yeah.
the
you
fall.
can really smell it.
You really
walk
smell
through
the
leaves.
roots of the trees, of
Yeah,
the earth.
they're
It's
very present.
olfactory.
Very present. Wholeness made realized and the witness to storied building brings with it the complete complexity into a simplified approach that lands the plane of existence on the correct point of origin.
Wow, look at that.
Look
It
at that,
awesome.
that perspective going up the
Yes.
stairway.
That's so cool.
That-
reminds me of the children at Christmas, and what did they call that? The landing, when the elves came.
Oh yeah,
Oh God. Yeah.
Remember how they couldn't come downstairs because the elves had.
oh yeah, yeah. They had to wait.
Yeah, but it had to do with the landing.
Oh.
Yeah, the
oh.
landing zone or
Yes.
something. Yeah.
Oh
Um,
shoot!
Oh, can you all remember what it was?
Oh. Jeez.
It's so cute. But see,
Something-
look how you can look
something
down
and
through the
landing.
stairs.
Yeah.
Prep and landing.
Prep and landing.
Prep and landing
and
crew.
landing. There
That-
you go.
There
There
they
you
are,
go.
the prep and landing crew.
There you go.
Right there.
Simplified approach that lands the plane of existence on the correct point of origin.
Or you can feel yourself coming down through the
and see,
stair.
now we find the correct point of origin. Fey origin makes essence, and essence denoted the real of place and position. The weathered eye sees the the word I, within the diversity, and is not afraid of the differences between color, line, and shape.
My God, who would ever talk about that?
I know.
I just love this.
Mm-hmm. Moving deeper into the threaded weave, we mark our maid with the fabric as it needles its way through the need, want, and desire. Nature makes its way forward and lands the next step with the reach of foot placed forward and determined of will.
I love this picture.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That angle is awesome.
Oh, and I really like the alchemist on the cabinet right there for
Mhm.
now. It's really, you'll see it on page.
I think that's in that
30.
Dr. D.
Oh, we made it to page 30. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was Dr. D.
That Dr. D. Each time emotion advances, the color spectrum shifts to accommodate its travel, its time, and its release from previous. Ooh, look how that's illustrated. There's an alchemist in that show that we did,
Mm-hmm.
and it's moved from being stacked on the floor or
Oh, that's
someplace
right.
else, and now the color spectrum shifts to accommodate its travel, its time, and its release from the previous. So now it's over here on the cabinet.
Oh, that's right.
The
It's
past
so
is
cool.
let go of from where it was. The past is let go of, and space fills the time with coordinates that point the zero to embodied. And this allows room to be made for consciousness.
Oh,
So what
wow.
I'm seeing in this a message for us, as we're so deeply involved with this is an abstract painting of John Dee, the alchemist. That painting of him has moved over to this cabinetry, which is in our kind of stairwell that we call our gallery.
Well, Nicholas Flamel is right below him.
Yeah, and
there.
this is
Yeah.
right at the doorway, the front doorway opening. So there's an opening that's happened. So the past is let go of. Space fills the
That's
time with
closing the door open.
coordinates that point the zero to embodied. So here we're embodying this now. And this allows room to be made for consciousness. So there's an expansion of consciousness happening presently. As the reach of consciousness expands its expression, we desire to meet the sound with our heard, and therefore we heard the ease instead of the difficult.
Oh my God.
Training the ear to reach for the sound of Sophic intelligentsia, the nurturing becomes automatic, and the expression yields to the ease of said and say. You gotta put an S on there.
Oh, that is awesome. Boy, I
And
want to
then
read
look at
this
that.
again. I love this
That's
view.
really cool.
This is a view through from our living room, through the dining room, through the little portal entryway
Into
on
the
the
kitchen.
side of the house, and then on into the kitchen.
Oh God, it's so great.
Boy, that's a
That's
corrugated view, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it really is.
Reminds me
Well,
of
all these pictures are the pictures in our home.
yeah, the Vertical Ray of the Sun, that movie.
Oh,
One of
yes.
the things that filmmaker was known for was taking shots that went through, showed multiple sequential rooms at a distance like that.
It feels so good.
Bringing into the moist, the watered ear is deep in its dive to connect, and in the connection brings circuitry as map.
Oh God, I love that.
Let's see, brings circuitry as map. The map contains the relevant patterns that tell the entire within the few, and the resonant factors reach their way into the net of neath.
Oh wow.
So it's like fishermen, with the nets. They cast the nets out, and there's a resonant factor in that net of communication, which is what's happening now with the
Internet. Yeah.
with the internet and with making places on the internet that are community, which is what we're doing with the Long Spoon.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
creating a place.
But it's a place here you don't have to go and
No.
and
You can do it from where
it's
you
really
are.
intimate. You don't have
Yeah.
to go and discuss all this. You can with other people, or you can just sit with it and take it in
Mm-hmm.
and allow yourself the comfort of the change unobserved.
Yeah.
And then when it's ready, then it's observed as you.
Yeah.
So you can either, you can take it in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love this about the communication
Mm-hmm.
because right here we have the long spoon as part of it.
Yeah.
So the long spoon oracle, decision, and new perspectives are shared in the long spoon. So this is showing that.
Yeah. The
Oh, I
fish
love
files ready their base, and the pH balances the nature of need to the nature of want and desire. Plain is the way, as the increased reach is connected to the local and the close. Close is a mother's voice, and the near is heard. The far folds itself in, and the corrugation allows the ready a place to be. Being near and ready allows the sound to penetrate the resistance and open the way forward and through into the nest of home. Swaddled is the embodied point of zero, and the nature allows thought to become aware of its own powerful nature to create its expression.
And we've come here to express, and we've come here with a mind to actually have the thought of expression, not all this other stuff.
Yeah. Faye brings sound. Boy, I dropped a lot of S's here, didn't I? Faye brings sound into being. Whoops. Sound into being. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, move the comma.
Oops. Pardon me. Here we go.
Comma.
A little bit of light housekeeping here. Faye brings sound into being as the resonance builds its platonic solids into a formatted picture, able to carry information larger than its own capacity. This emits both light and movement, sound and color, line and shape. Sounds like
Actually, this happens when a woman becomes pregnant.
sounds like the TARDIS, doesn't it?
Yeah, the TARDIS.
Bigger on the inside.
Yes, yes, yes. The long spoon for nurturance of November. I love
Yeah.
this
So we'll be putting that out
announcement.
this
We're
next
putting
week.
this out.
Yep.
And then these components registered as matter, a storied existence set into a time, moving forward from past, the future, and into the now present lift
Now, let me put a comma here, because that's past.
from past.
It's like a past.
Fey lift through light, and the lighted way is clear of limit. Oh, that's really perfect, because that right there, right above, is
Mhm.
that storied existence that we work with
Yeah,
in the spoon.
I love that.
Unlimited is size and scope. The Fae are able to penetrate the distance of resistance, open portals where solid once was and no longer is. The isness of open becomes primary, and the less becomes light shifted into its matter of no concern.
Oh.
And this really is perfect for
It
this.
is. It's so amazing.
It's a beautiful collage of this really happening,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see it on the thing, but fold after folds and still not corrugated enough. How about a few more connected threads that will spread the distance?
Mm-hmm.
Unconcerned allows the lift of light to be opened and the brilliance become known. As the lifted light penetrates the judgment of the universal,
Okay. As the lifted light penetrates the judgment of, the universal pattern changes its orientation and moves to its original pattern.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So as you become unconcerned, more light comes in. You're not so caught up in a tighter motion. Treated with the fibered weave of the mother, expression becomes easy and flowing with the amount of needed sound, bathed with the light of forgiving. The giving brings the gift to the table, and the table is set by the hand of the mother and the gentle grace of call.
Oh. And this goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
What is ever about is the question of those counting. There never was an assignment to fail. Just begin, make it so.
Oh,
Perfect.
I love that. Called forward, called into, called through. The sound penetrates every measure, and the notes are soothing and bring comfort. The registry of comfort marks this time and allows the ease to relax the body, called into existence, and generates expression as the gift to be given.
Wow, that really says it all.
Mm-hmm.
Making the time weave its motion into the resonance needed. The marking is etched deeply with the salt of the fish files, and the alphabet steps its footed away forward, and is that right?
Footed way.
Footed way forward, and the wooded way enters
Mm-hmm.
and exists.
And exits.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Enters and exits the mycelial way with an ease never before seen or known. I love that. This is this time. And I love this. Connecting all our creative ideas to their original threads with all their resources.
I love that, with all their resources.
Yeah.
I love it. It keeps
I
it.
love that one.
It keeps
Okay.
them sovereign.
We got 10 minutes. How
Okay.
far are we?
We're pretty good. We're on page.
2 pages.
What? What does it say? Where's my glasses? We're on page 32. We're close to the end.
Oh, cool. We'll make it.
Okay. An expressed yield. Excuse me. A expression yields word. Oh, an expression. Boy, let me get the little. these
Word
little-
leans into ear,
Mhm.
and heard is registered as value, and the numerical becomes added to and multiplied with, creating a great awakening, yielded, given, and given to. Yeah, we need commas.
Awakened.
You do that, and I'll finish
Yielding.
reading it. The Fey heart places the gift before you each day, as the sun lighting your way, vining the planted that you are into the unfolded seed, the idea of sacred taking hold.
oh,
Beautiful.
Isn't that
Whoa.
gorgeous?
Oh, it's beautiful.
That
oh,
is
that is
beautiful.
So beautifully written.
Oh, Barbara, I love that. We are watered, and our curious nature naturally grows. The answers come from the question, and the end was the beginning made whole and right to unwrong the polar of opposition. Limit isn't, and unlimited is a universal fact of reason, made natural through the organic nature of expression.
Do I have anything? Did I leave a?
Okay, you want
Yeah, just need a period here. They got missed.
origami in our life is becoming more part of the creative life that learns to hold the fold.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's an origami presence. I love that table, the turtle table there, with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to read the collection?
Mm-hmm. The final feed of what moves us through our own fey dust. You know, this is so funny because I saw something today about, it was about fey, about humans, and that we're dust, magic dust. So I love that, how this is the final feed of what moves us through our own fey dust, our fey particle awareness of what we are as vast, and we truly occupy it all. To sense all that we are, we must know our own force field of fuel that generates our life. Oh God, I love
Me
that.
too. Me too. And then this collage.
Yeah, I love this collage.
Oh,
The
yeah.
entry portal made more complex. We all come into the frame more folded than ever before. Blessed be.
That is so good.
And then we put one more.
At the bottom of it.
I love
Oh,
this one.
oh,
We needed some
I gotta get the other one. This is the
Louis.
yeah.
we needed
we'll
some
get it.
trigger stoppers.
Yes.
Louis.
Oh,
Look
okay.
into the wardrobe.
Thank you.
We have avatars, guardians, and new threads of red.
I
I'll
love
find the other
it. I love it.
And this is the trigger stoppers, the Fey realm, but this is the force of Fey. Mycelial and Princial light pattern to assist with Kundalini. Imprint, access, and activate. There's different patterns. And then what's this one here? The air of my breath weaves me through. Yeah, the air of my breath weaves me through.
I love
And
this
see, we were
of
working
you
with
in the
the whole-
wardrobe.
And we were working with the whole thing of the Fey in the mirror. And the air and water in the bottle. It's just all of these elements intermixing and being
With the,
part of each other.
the magic message in the
Yeah,
bottle.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That is so cool.
Well, this was wonderful
Yeah.
to share and present, and we're very excited about. I think that we will be able to put this on the
Oh, I do too. Very
On
much
the,
so. We'll put it in the membership area.
membership area this
Yeah.
month,
Mm-hmm.
and give you a little deeper equation of our language and what we work with.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So-
Thank you all
It was
so much.
wonderful.
This
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Oh,
And thank you
We
for
loved it.
Thank you,
being
guys.
here, all of you, for
Uh-huh.
being here, participating around the table.
We
for
thank
the
our
long
Reed
spoon.
group and
Mm-hmm.
all of you that are new members, that are members of this equation of thought.
So thank you, and we will do this again next week.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate you
Robert
being
and
here.
Suzanne,
Yes,
clarity.
clarity.